And here at CRS, we are very familiar with the Onsite organization, and it's one that Jason supports as well. Taylor Eickenhorst is here to share her story of attending Onsite's Triumph Over Tragedy workshop. Please welcome Taylor.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Taylor, and I am a survivor of the Las Vegas mass shooting. I'm originally from Texas. You know, all Texans have to give a shout out in their introductions. Woo! So country music has always been a huge part of my life and a huge part of who I am. The Chicks and Miranda, to name a couple of my all-time faves. So after getting my degree in marketing at the University of Texas, I was determined to find a career path that would combine both my passions of working in business and, of course, country music. I moved to New York City right after college, and at 23, I landed a job as a music marketing manager for Anheuser-Busch. And as soon as I started that gig, I knew in my heart, like many of you all in this room, that I'd never do anything in my career outside of music. My job had me traveling the US, attending country music festivals almost every other weekend. It was the most exciting job I could have asked for. 10 months into the role, my last festival of the year was Route 91 in Las Vegas. It was intended to be the best festival yet. So much, I even invited my best friend to do a girls' weekend with me while I was working. And I remember the night before the shooting, sitting on top of a huge beer truck in the middle of the crowd and looking to my left and seeing Maren Morris performing on the main stage, and then looking to my right and looking down at the strip and seeing the bright lights and hearing my favorite music live. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, life cannot get any better than this. 24 hours before the shooting, I truly felt like I was on top of the world. I felt untouchable. At 10 p.m. on October 1st, my friend and I were having an absolute blast listening to Jason. We were singing along, we were dancing, we were laughing with huge smiles on our faces. And then we heard the initial gunshot pops. And then we heard the automatic fire spraying down on us from multiple directions. We initially were in shock until a couple bullets missed us by a few inches, and that's when we decided to hide behind a plastic photo op. We laid there crying together, and I remember just trying to get as close to the ground as I possibly could. Because the bullets were so close, I could feel the tips of my hair move every time rounds would pass above us. We were both very certain that we were going to die there that night. We laid there in the middle of the crowd, bullets spraying everywhere, people screaming, and we were waiting to see which round was finally going to hit us. And in the meantime, we prayed for our families to be okay for when we didn't make it out alive. After being shot at with rapid fire for 10 minutes, which felt like an eternity, we finally made the decision to run. And when we got up from behind that plastic wall, we saw a complete war zone. It was excruciating to witness a tragedy that none of us were prepared to survive. Fortunately, my friend and I were two of the lucky ones that made it out physically unharmed. I went back to my job in New York, and I tried to go back to my normal life as best as I could. But I soon started to realize that I was living with PTSD, and it was a hard realization at that point that I had a very long road of recovery ahead of me. Surviving the mass shooting left me with crippling anxiety and regular panic attacks. And it was hard to navigate because everyday tasks became extremely difficult and almost unbearable. The aftermath of surviving that night had compounded over the years. And after 3 years of trying to do the best I could on my own, I hit a point where I was in such a bad place, I recognized I needed to make a change, so I reached out for help. I fortunately was able to find Onsite's Triumph Over Tragedy program. a retreat for mass shooting survivors that specializes in treating trauma. And thanks to donors like Jason, all participants attend with all expenses paid. Attending that program this past November was absolutely critical in my own healing process. And standing up here today is a true testament to the program and to the progress that I have made. If someone asked me to do this a year ago, I would have immediately started crying at the word Vegas. Working through the shooting has been hands down the hardest thing I have had to overcome in my life. And at times, I didn't know how I was going to get through it or how I was going to continue to follow my passion of working in this industry. So with that, I am so grateful to be here with you all today, to be able to tell my story and to be able to still be working in this industry that I love 4 years later. It's an honor and a privilege to be standing here saying that I am a survivor and I have found the light at the end of a very dark tunnel. And Jason, I know I speak for myself and other courageous survivors. We can't thank you enough for making our lives better and for giving us an opportunity to heal. Someone took something away from me that night in Vegas, and through Jason's generosity, I have found a way to take it back. Congratulations on this well-deserved award. Thank you.